I would say 95% of my students, when they get up and share a poem for the first time, sit down and they just have this look of, I'm so proud of myself for doing that. My name is Dr. Steve Haslam. I teach at Copper Hills High School. I'm basically the English elective guy, and I coach and run the Poetry Slam program at our school.
There's so much about Steve that I think people miss because he's so busy taking care of other people. I mean, without doubt, he is one of the most compassionate people I have ever met in my life.
When you walk into my classroom, it basically looks like a teenager's bedroom, if we're being honest.
There's always a line of students gathered around his desk as he's talking to them about poetry, talking to them about life. He will advocate for any student that comes in his room, whether they are his student or not.
Last year, I went into a Latinos in Action club meeting. I asked the students there how many of them had experienced racism. And in a group of, 35 or 40, every single one of them raised their hand. I said, well, how many of you have had the chance to write about it or share about it? And maybe there's one or two that raised their hand. And I said, well, that's a problem because you guys are carrying a lot of weight. What I can do for you is give you the opportunity to share what you're dealing with, share the experiences you've had with racism and discrimination, and to educate and empower others that are going through the same struggle.
The first time that I heard slam in his classroom, I was completely enthralled, and it's changed how I view poetry 1,000%. They're being given that outlet to tell who they are and what they experience, and it's okay.
There was one girl in particular, her name was Chelsea Gabata. She wanted really, really badly to improve and to share her story, and so she kept coming back to me and we would edit her work, and she competed at our next competition and got a 10, which is the top score that you can get on a poem. And she's going to Dallas to represent the state of Utah at the Women of the World Poetry Slam. So, she's somebody that I'm incredibly proud of.
English and Spanish. 2-syllable, 7-letter words are turned outstretched hands the day I was born.
From that first meeting, my life has changed a lot. Out of all my years in public school, he has made the biggest impact in my life. There's no better person in the state of Utah or in the entire country, to be honest, that would be more deserving of this award.
Every good teacher is the way they are because of some other teacher that has inspired them. About a year ago, March, I lost my closest friend and colleague. I put her face in a little frame and I set it next to my desk, and she would tell me all the time how great she thought I was, and she reminds me to do that to my students because they need that reminder as well. So.
And I think that a teacher like that's pretty rare. And I think we need more like him.
I try to tell my students as often as possible that despite the fact that I have a PhD, yada yada, that I feel like I learn as much from them every day as I can teach them. And so, again, I'm proud to have known them, proud of where they're going, and grateful for how much they've taught me.